Well, back on Cybertron, I was just a low-level cargo transport.
Silverbolt, I've got an idea. I'm making you commander of the Aerialbots. It'll give you something else to worry about instead of your fear of heights.
Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about G1 Superion. I want to do a review of this figure, and I've got to say that it is absolutely my favorite combiner out of all the combiners. It always has been, and it probably always will be. I think it looks so good. Back in the day, I got this as a kid. I worked for the money to buy it myself, which I think you appreciate stuff so much more when you do that. But anyway, we're going to get into taking a look at this guy. We're going to look at the different modes, the different components, my botched together G2 version, and the connectivity to Metroplex. All this and more coming up. Right, so if you follow the channel, you would know this is something I usually cover on Wednesdays for my Retro Wednesday, and I just wanted to work this in because the hype of Superion is probably going to die down pretty quick, and I think people excited about the Masterpiece Fans toys and all that kind of stuff are going to have a little bit of fun with getting to see the G1, and I've got my Retro Wednesday tied up for about 20 weeks with some G.I. Joe, might work some other stuff in the middle there, but the entire G.I. Joe line already offended a lot of people with my first video talking about the original 10, but getting into all of this. This is Silverbolt. Now, he's the biggest one of them, and this is how they did the 5 combiner figures, which you'd have the leader, the big one, and he would come with all the parts, and here are some of the parts. I am actually unable to locate the ramp. I will show a picture of the ramp and what it does, which it is not very good. I think you could use it as a shield, and I probably should have, just so I could have kept track of that thing, but I have at least 2 ramps because I've been after these for a while. This Silverbolt looks like a really good figure, and I like the vacuum metallized gold that's on him. I like the fact that he is a pretty good size figure, and I do need to bring in a Prime. So there he is next to the missing Link Prime, and for people who probably want, this is a G1 review, people want the purest form of G1 in there. So he's next to the regular Prime. So you can see size comparison. Original G1, he is a little bit taller. Now do remember, these were not made as a cohesive toy line in the original series. They were other toy lines botched together, which is why him being a little bit bigger, there's really no scale that matches the cartoon in G1. It just is what it is, but this was pretty darn close if you ask me. Now, looking at him, his head can go up and down, and his shoulders, let's get into a little bit of articulation. His head can go up and down. His shoulders can do this. He's got a butterfly, sort of, in a way. That's part of the transformation. And then you do have all of this that's going on, and you can do this with the legs, and you can actually kick them forward. But there's really no way to make them stand, so it's really nothing. And then down here, nothing. And then foot, really nothing. Now you could give them a wider stance if that's a thing that you want to do. And I've been really overly critical of the lack of articulation in G1 Transformers, and it offends a lot of people. But I will say something, this guy does still look good standing on his own on the shelf. Next up is Slingshot, and this is the whole reason this review is even happening. I pulled this one down to compare to the vintage, to the fans toys, and since I already had it down and apart, I might as well do the review, and he looks pretty cool. Now, it only comes with 1 gun, and this is the only one that I have actually 2 guns of, so I have 2 going on with him, and the fans toys had 2 guns, and so this feels right. But it looks pretty good. It is painted on the chest. The chest is, I believe, die cast. The rest of it is pretty much plastic. I really didn't feel any die cast in Silverbolt, but I assume it's die cast because it's painted and it chips. So that's why it is what it is. Good looking figure. No articulation except for in the arms. So these guys are brick bodies, arm movements. One thing I loved about these, and you didn't get it in Silverbolt, but you get it in the smaller ones, is The way the transformation works, the little backpack actually turns into a little jet on the back. And that fascinated me in the show, just the way it worked. And it fascinated me that the figures carried that over very, 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 very well. I love that whole feature. And this is Slingshot and his coloration. We will transform each one of these up here in a little bit and do all that fun stuff. But for now, we're just looking at the bot modes. Now, I will say I love Superion, my favorite combiner out of all the combiners. I don't remember all the names, although it feels like I've got them right. I did have to use an online resource to write the names down, and this one they say is Air Raid, and I believe that's right. That sounds very familiar. Now you say, well, how can you say it's your favorite, but you don't know all the names exactly right? It's because I actually keep it in combine mode, and I don't actually do anything with the individual figures very much, but still, this one carries forward all the same stuff. Now, I will point out that the figures we're looking at are probably not the greatest shape. My best ones are in the combined mode on the one behind us, and that is my best favorite Superion. These are other ones I've hodgepodged together from other sets or just individually, and I actually was able to get 2 Superions together. That was kind of nice. Didn't buy any of this stuff complete and all that, and you know how I collect. I collect in the way that I try to get as cheap as I can. And, of course, these were all bought, well over a decade, maybe 15 years ago. Now, I'm not able to keep these together. The tabs might be broken off. So that is kind of a downside there. There is his gun. And I did have to look that up, which gun goes with which. But we got Air Raid. Next up, Fireflight. This is what they say, and it feels right to me. I think this is one of the ones I got when I was selling Scoutorama tickets and got some tips and went and bought it. So that's just a story of mine. The arms are really loose on this one. Not much difference than... And that's one thing about these. Like, if you've seen one of these, then you've seen them all. But there he goes. He's got the double barrel, though. That's what I looked up, and that's what it said. Loose arms on this guy. Looks pretty cool. Fun stuff. Fireflight. We got Skydive, which has got the gray in them, and so it's kind of cool. This one's actually in decent shape. Nice, tight joints. His back jet sort of sticks together really well. He does have a landing gear in there. Do they all have that landing gear? Yeah, they do. Well, I bet we'll be surprised that I'll have one that doesn't have the landing gear in there, but does have some decals on. We'll see more of this in the alt mode. Stickers applied very well for a 6-year-old kid back in 1984, 5, 6. When did this one come out? Anyway, there he is. And I like the fact that, like, this one, although his jet is gray, like he looks so much different than the rest of them. That's one cool thing about him. We're not going to get this into the transformation into the jet mode, so we remove this, but I do want to point out that it has the gun has 2 handles. It does come with him. This is where Silverbolt holds it. This is where Superion holds it with this other double handle piece. Very fun, simplistic transformations. Fold his head down, fold that down, push his hands in just a smidge. They're still going to be hanging out there. Nothing really all that special. You need to fold the feet in. Slide this sliding gimmick up so that you can turn the legs around and fold them upside down onto this. And then same thing here on the other side. And then from this point, so when you fold this up, now, hey, it's getting real technical. You got to latch that in. That holds it in place. Technical details for the transformation. Should have had this done by now. If I didn't have a camera in front of me and trying to look around the camera, should be looking through the camera, I know. Then you have the landing gear that comes out. It's a little tough there to get that one out. Silverbolt. If you notice off camera, I have a baggie full of parts. But I'm going to toss all of these guns in there right now. Those parts are not necessary. Getting into transforming these guys, they all transform the same. Fold these down. Slide the legs up. Fold the arms to the side. Take the nose cone of the mini jet and then the tail of the mini jet. Bring it down, and if you would like to I think this one, the landing gear's already in it. So there's 1 down, 3 to go with the ultra simplistic. You can do the nose cone first, and then slide this in, fold the wings down. Oh no, this one's giving me a little trouble in the rear. Maybe I can't figure out why. Have to play with that one a little off camera. Now these arms actually go inside of it, as to where these other ones hang out outside of it. They don't tuck in all the way. So that's a thing. And the tail, snapped it into place off camera. Just want to make sure I don't break them. I mean, they're not ridiculously expensive or anything, but why break them if you don't have to? Fold these in, put the nose cone up, go ahead and bring that wheel out, fold these down, let's close this, and just give it the good old-fashioned snap into place there. And then last one, we do all the same stuff. It's done all the same way. But he's nice and tight. Is that a good thing? I think it's a good thing. The tighter, the better it is, the less it's been played with. I gotta say, a lot of Superion figures, that's proof that they're fun toys. They've all been played with very, very well. There's the team. Here they are as a jet team flying through the air. Are you still an effective team? Yes, we are for now. They look good. So, nice looking jets in their jet mode. Really, I don't see any weapon storage for any of them at all, which becomes a bit of a problem for the parts forming in these things. I don't have a problem with parts forming, but then again, I display all mine in combined mode where they hold most of their parts anyway. So there it is, looking good as a team. Let's get this thing transformed up. Now, for the sake of my own figure on the shelf, I really don't care. These are Scramble City. They will go together however you would like, but the problem is that I'm making a video and I want to be accurate. I'm going to go screen accurate, and the catalog has them in a different order than what you would see them in the show. But okay, there it is. I didn't really give you the blow-by-blow explanation on this. I don't think I have to. Now, there are two different feet. The tabs go to the inside, or else I guess you can give a wide stance, and that would work also if you want to do that. But I always put the tabs to the inside. It's just what I do, and to me, I think it adds more stability. But I could be wrong. I was wrong that one time. My wife reminds me over and over, but she tries to say I'm wrong 1,000 times. It was just the one time, dear. I was wrong once. Here it goes. Over there. Fold this up and plug it in. Plug it in. Now, this is the order in which I'm putting them together. You're going to say, well, technically, actually, that's not correct. That's wrong. Mike, wrong. Hey, it's my Superion. It's how I do it. Anyway, getting into the Silverbolt, it is really complex. No, it's not really that complex, but we are going to, since it is connected now with that connector piece, slide this down, close this up, fold this to the back. This tail piece can go up too. Then folding these wings back to the back. Now, I should have looked up my own instructions, but it's possible to fold them back and leave them down. But I like to leave them down because I like the extra gold. And then we are going to do something a little different with these. Fold these to this direction. Then we're going to fold them out like so. So get it to where you can access that joint. So yeah, there was quite a bit of engineering added to this. Now, as a kid, I left them like this for him to be taller. So if I remember, we'll do that. We will do that being like a kid again. Now, this is where you can break them. The connection point, and on these, it's still really tight. So hold the foot while you do it. Hold that foot down while you're doing this, and shove the head in technically in his knee. No, in his foot, in the back, in his heel. Not his knee, his heel. All right, there we go. We're getting up there, but before we change the camera. Let's get the other two into their mode. Now, according to the animation, we have Slingshot as his left arm and him as his right arm. Believe it or not, I had mine set up in the complete opposite of the animation, but I think that actually matches the toy catalog and also what you would probably see on the box. Now I'm going to extend these, fold this up, and this is where we start getting in. People start arguing with me with my masterpiece. Like, I take the wings off my Zeta, but some people don't like that. Hold this down. So we have this arm ready to go on this side. And then we do the same thing over here. And then we are going to bring in some hands. All right, now we are going to plug this into here. Plug this into here. Then we're going to bring the hand in, and as you can see, we have a molded left and a molded right hand. And they work as hands would. Parts forming, then you plug this in. Sadly, for my spare that we're building, I don't have his waist piece. What a waste. In fact, I got all this stuff, you could say, in the wild. None of this was bought on eBay. None of this was, I did buy at secondhand shops, and, you know, when I bought them at secondhand shops, I was getting them like a buck or a quarter per part. Oh, plug that in. And it shows they don't hold in. Let me see. Put the head up. Maybe you should put it on like this. There it is. Had the head down for the... So you need the head up. Head up! Laces up. Laces out. Here he is, but not really. We're going to look at the good one. This is the spare that I keep on hand. And no, I am not getting rid of my spare. I don't want to. Superion is my favorite. And in fact, after this video, I might actually do a little more completing of this guy too, because I absolutely love this figure so much. Kicking the combined one to the curb, let's get it pushed to the back. Let's take a look at the one that I feel is my better of the two, and it is this guy here. And I want to say that he looks really good. Now, there's a couple of different display options you can do with him, but overall, this figure does look fantastic. And back in the day, I remember my excitement. He's wanting to lean forward. They all kind of have that want to lean forward the way their connection. The excitement of getting him and combining him. And I'm going to say that I'm really happy with combining him. My parts are falling off. I might have to reevaluate which one's better, though, because of that. I feel like the other one is standing better. I feel like this one has some better components to it, which is kind of fun to do stuff like this, to break it all out. I mean, it's just been sitting on a shelf behind some Star Wars figures for all this time, and it's good to bring them out. Now, a couple things about this guy, though. Looking at him, he does have some good articulation, like the shoulders have ratchets and they move, and it's scary whenever you do that. He does feel like he's going to lean forward. He is kind of forward leaning. So putting him in this kind of a pose, now you can articulate these a little bit to maybe get a little bit different stance to maybe mitigate that problem a little bit. But generally, surprise, surprise, I display them just standing here like this, and it's no problem. No problem. Now these side pieces here, they come untabbed a little bit. Now, I do want to show you another display option if you were to move the arm pieces to the back. This is kind of the difference in the aesthetic look. So you can see I leave the Silverbolt arms down to the side. You do have the option to push them to the back to make them look a little more streamlined, a little more athletic looking over here versus this guy who looks more filled out, but more bling-blinged. Love that Vac Medical. The more I look at these, the more I think this is a better Silverbolt. I might redo all of this. I will, actually. Pick the best parts. Now for the G2. Now my G2 does not have the G2 parts on it. I actually found for $30 a baggie of parts. It was all the G2 Silverbolt, and it actually had some stuff I was able to piece together, sort of. These are G1 figures, I believe. Well, maybe that one is G2. Maybe this is the only one. I'm just missing a golden slingshot and then some of the correct combining parts for this guy. But with all of that, it is a pretty cool looking color scheme, and my understanding is they only officially made G1, G2. You look back at like Bruticus, there's like 5 of them, and you look back at Devastator, there's several Devastators, but I think there's only 2 of this one. But looking at it, it's still kind of cool and fun. Like for $30 to have gotten like these components to put it together, I don't think's bad representation. I think long term I might want to eventually complete it, but for now I'm happy. I do notice though there's a slightly darker gold on his horns. I mean, the paint's really rubbed off on this. Of course, you know, Superion's a fun figure, so you expect a lot of playwear with this. But yeah, pretty cool. The differences, you can see the differences in the G2 sticker. Although it's pretty much the same figure for the most part. The chest is silver on this guy. And then let's go ahead and look at the lower legs. Lower legs, we see silver on the chest versus the red, and the color scheme is mixed up a little bit different. I do have them inverted on here, so the outside ones are the same. The inside ones are the same character, but just painted different. So instead of black, it's blue, and instead of gray, it's gray-ish silver. First up for comparison, I've got him next to Minosaur. I really do feel like I had to have done something wrong with my Minosaur somewhere along the lines, because he is so much shorter than this guy. And of course, I think I probably have some wrong parts on him and stuff. Again, not a figure I chased down parts for. I literally just got it in collections, pieced together, and it looks good enough for me. I'm happy. On my shelf for G1. It's odd how little money I put into my G1 collection, but I still love it. And this is who he went up against. Guess who won every time? Here he is next to Mega Supreme. I'm not going to bother putting his wings on him. I don't store his track wings on him. But size comparison, so he's a pretty good size figure in combined mode. And this is where it keeps blowing everyone's mind. G1, this feels right to me in the G1 scale. This is the Magic Square Devastator, Magic Square's Devi, lined up against a G1 Superion, and that just feels about the right size and scale. The G1 Devi it's not a great figure in combined mode. It doesn't hold together all that well. It's hard to get together, all that good stuff. And if you get it together, I don't know, I'm half tempted to glue one of mine together just so it stays together. But this is size comparison. Got another one. Here he is next to Jetfire. So this is where my, I don't know, 10-year-old mind kept going back in the day. All this time, effort, and work to build this combiner, and he's supposed to be so big and powerful and amazing and all that good stuff. But Jetfire just shows up and he's already bigger, more powerful, more bad as can be, and packs a bigger gun. How is it that this combiner can do any more than Jetfire could do? Well, I guess Jetfire kept getting trapped in ice. That's one thing. These guys never got trapped in ice. Yeah, there's that. But still, Jetfire overall, in my mind, was still a better overall figure. So, 2 of my favorites sitting in front of me. Again, how do you pick your favorite child? So there's a 4th mode for Silverbolt, and it actually is a base mode that connects to the Metroplex? Yeah, Metroplex. And I didn't show the actual connection and transformation, all that kind of stuff in my Metroplex review. So there's just a picture. But I have to say, that is kind of a cool concept, how they came up with all that back in the day. And it would make the base mode so much better. It makes a lot of sense for the knee pads and all that kind of stuff. But I'm not going to go through all of that trouble. And that's what the ramp's for. And the ramp can also be used as a hand shield. I don't know where my ramp is. And I don't care. So there's my look at G1 Superion. The reason I want to get this done right away is because of the fact that everybody seems to be excited about the fans' toys building their Superion. people are deciding whether or not they're going to pick up a Zeta, go with the 14, 12, whatever, $100 Fans Toys. Remember, you can get it all cheaper at Shozy Store. TH reviewer code down below. And so Friday I'll be talking about that and everybody's experience with Superion. But the G1 is still where it all started, where it began. It is a great figure. He looks fantastic overall. Love it on the shelf. I'm going to spend me some more time here getting to decide which one of these parts is the best. Build my ultimate best one and be super happy with it. But let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Did you like Superion back in the day? Or is he one of the ones that you didn't care about? You didn't like the 5 combiner mode? They should all be 6 ones like Devastator. They should they all be built in? Do you not like the parts forming? It is what it is. Let me know in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and Tiberium hanging out. See y'all on Friday.
Now go on. Join the others.
You're supposed to be protecting these people. I don't believe it.
Slingshot, don't jump to conclusions about the human beings. We don't know enough about them.
Stunticons! Unite!
Jet streams!
Aerialbots! Show them what you've got!